Hello everybody and welcome back to DreamHack Summer 2013. We've not gone anywhere yet. We've got 3 more games to go.
We've got 3 more amazing series to go, Paulo, I think is the best way to put it, to wrap things up for the group stage number 1.
What just happened? Did you put on an accent?
I'm just having a bit of fun, that's all.
I wasn't sure if that was your normal one and something you'd drinking or taken something to change it, or whether you were putting it on, but well done, not bad. Not bad.
Swedish water, I think.
Swedish water. Swedish water is great. It actually is. I love Swedish water. Not bottled, directly from the tap.
I was surprised. I was actually really impressed with it, having spent a lot of time in New York. You know,
yeah.
Very clean tap water.
You know, usually when you brush your teeth, you get the water and you gurgle it and spit it out. No, not in Sweden. You swallow that, man. you take that Swedish water. It's good for you. Our first map coming up, or first series, should I say, is going to be TLO. Big superstar TLO going up against Poland's DieStar. It's going to be quite a good series, I think. Of course, TLO have been performing absolutely incredible recently with his, Premier League performances, going off the career for WCS Season 1 finals. But DieStar is in his way.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this match, if not for the fact that I finally get to see a little bit of Terran action. And, well, let's introduce these players spawning in the bottom right position of this map. That is Belshir Vestige. We have the red Zerg player. You guys know him. He is Liquid TLO.
As the German crowd did in WCS Premier League. TLO, TLO, TLO.
Indeed.
There he is, the handsome devil.
And his opponent spawning in the top left position as the blue Terran player. Coming from Millennium, it is DieStar.
I know there's a couple of Polish people in the crowd cheering for DieStar. He's been performing okay recently. In Wings of Liberty, I'd say fell off the radar a little bit. But in Heart of the Storm, he's not been doing too bad. I think he played in EPS Poland not so long ago. Actually won it, including players like Nurcho, Tarson, excluding Mana, who didn't play in it. But climbing to the top of the ranks within your country is always the first step, and actually a big step, as it's quite difficult to do so. But he is going up against a talent at the moment, a player who's playing some of the best StarCraft of his career.
Yeah, I'd say you'd know a little bit more about that than me, with TLO being one of the few foreign players actually make it over to the WCS finals that you were able to cast. So he's exactly what you said. He's had some amazing performances recently, and I'm actually really curious to see how far he can get into this bracket, considering the competition that's here as far as the other foreigners go.
TLO's been doing rather well for himself, especially in the Premier League, where he was able to get that 5th place spot in the consolation matches against Lucifron. If you remember those games, incredible cheesy games, TLO. Slap you on the wrist for that later. So we'll see what he's going to bring to the table here. He played in Korea, he's getting a lot of experience, but despite getting 5th place in WCS Europe, which is a great feat, in tournaments, he is capped at a certain point, and it's the round of 8. He cannot get past the quarterfinals no matter how hard he tries. The last DreamHack event, it was only the round of 16 as well in Stockholm, so he's got a tall task ahead of him this weekend.
Yeah, and it could be things like mental blocks. You get into that situation where there is so much pressure. He's a very practiced player as far as regiment goes, so you get into the nitty-gritty of things, and that's where the schedule, it can't carry you all the way. You have to be able to play in those high pressure situations. So I feel this is another solid opportunity to try to make that play and actually get that big victory that he's been looking for.
Well, DieStar plays for Millennium, man, and those Millennium Terrans have been absolutely incredible for themselves recently. Daishi, 4GG, and now DieStar's chance to do well for his team. And he's opened up with quite a normal build. I mean, normal to a certain extent within this matchup. Command Center first, into barracks, into a single gas, and he's getting a bunker down at the moment. On the other hand, though, TLO completely gasless at this point. Completely. Even that drone wanted to be an extractor, but it was denied.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, though, the other Terran competition on the Team Millennium. DieStar is not one of the players we've really seen come out much in the Team League, the Acer Cup. He's actually a little bit more of a mystery as far as what exactly he's been doing lately, but Like you said, opening up with a very standard setup. Could go for something like the fast third command center. He's still on one gas.
Yeah.
And I feel like on Belshir Vestige with the rush distance, especially scouting that his opponent hadn't gone for a gas just yet, I feel like we might see an economic play. Any thoughts on this?
I think he's going to go 3 command center too. If he wanted not to, he probably would have taken the second gas by now, or at least started to throw down some extra barracks. So I think he'll do that. So there's the 3 command centers. On the flip side of things, though, TLO has opened up completely gasless. We're not going to see any aggressive tactics here this game round. By the looks of things, he's going to take his third base. He's gone up to quite a decent queen count already. I mean, he's got 3 right there we can see on screen. I'm sure he's got another one in his main base. He's got 2 more building. 6.
It's a pretty greedy build as far as pushing the creep goes. You kind of delaying that tech pretty significantly. He's going to get the fast third hatchery with this as well. So
yeah,
it's a big creep. It's a creep heavy style, and of course he'll have transfuses as well if he gets into a situation where he needs to defend early. But I feel like a lot of creep kind of fits the way that TLO plays. Some of his more interesting styles really rely on pushing things like that.
Yeah, he loves his creep, man. He's a creeper. He's got 4 gases now coming down all at once. And this is going to allow him to rush up to double evolution. He's put down the double evolution chamber, or I'm expecting him to at least throw down the second one. Shortly, we'll see. But all 4 gases at once, that's a massive spike of gas. So he's going to be able to get the upgrades as soon as the evolution chamber is finished. He could probably throw down a Roach Warren if he wants to, but to be honest, I don't think we'll see one this game. And the reason why is because what does he need to be afraid of? Why does he need Roaches when he has 1,000,000 queens? And he's getting Zergling speed on the way, and he's going to get Zerglings. I don't think he needs a Roach Warren at all. So I think he'll just stick to his third base, probably go towards droning to there relatively soon. But I know, you play Terran, you know Terran quite well. Double engineering bay.
It's about as standard as the matchup gets, and I feel like DieStar should take into account the fact that, like you said, TLO, he may not go for the Roaches this game because he went for such a defensive open, especially with the double evolution chambers. But you have to keep a little bit of honesty. TLO is one of those guys that will throw one of the more wonky builds at you. Using the Hellions, getting a bit of pressure here. He's actually managed to deny a couple of creep tumors.
Yeah.
But, this is pretty standard play that we're seeing so far out of DieStar. Nothing unusual by any means. He's going straight into the bio, not going for fast Hellbat drops after his command centers. And I feel this game overall just looks very, very normal economic openers from both players.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting his barracks down now. He's going to start throwing some reactors around. The initial reactor at the front of the wall has been, barracks has been put on it. The factory's been used to build another reactor for another barrack. So he's starting to increase his production count now. On the other side of things, TLO, very normal so far. I mean, he's got his 1-1, he's got his lair on the way, he's got his Bailey Nest a little bit early, but that's just in case. I don't think he's got too much scouting information on what his opponent's actually doing, so it's better to have it a little bit earlier than not. He hasn't seen the third command center, so he's not 100% sure what's going on, but it's better than not having it at all. Meanwhile, just getting a few lings out. He's got the Overlord on Natural poking in, having a look around. But it is, as you said, a pretty much textbook macro style. Both players focusing heavily on their production, on their upgrades, on their economy.
Yeah, I like this decision from TLO. He's going for the pneumaticized Carapace. That's the Overlord speed, and that's easy scouting. That's going to be useful later on if he uses Overseers to pick off Widow Mines and keeping the Zergling presence on the map. He knows that third base hasn't been landed just yet, and DieStar wants to move to take that. But that can also make things like creep spreading to block the expansions a little bit easier. Yeah,
and if he's going to throw down the Spire, which I'm probably going to guess he's going to do, then it's the Overlords, if he spreads them out well enough, he's going to spot the drop. So it's a perfect upgrade to get. It's very underused, actually, from a lot of Zerg players. It's such a cheap upgrade, just 100, 100. And when you're on 6 gases, it's, a couple of Banelings, 1 Mutalisk. It's a great upgrade to get here. And he does have central fuel hooks immediately, so he's not skipping up on that. Will be getting his Banelings in. But we should be seeing DieStar take and fortify this location. Shouldn't feel threatened at all, I don't think, here.
Yeah, and TLO's going to push him with a couple of Zerglings. He has the stim, though. Medevac's coming out a little bit later to make sure that he can get his upgrades going early on. I really like that he's kept the Hellions alive for the map presence. Obviously not doing too much with those Zerglings that were dancing around, but the armory's already done. He's going to start his 2-2 pretty soon, and I like the way that you put it. This is a very upgrade-heavy game. Getting the centrifugal hooks, getting the 2-2 as soon as it was available. And I feel like this is one of those games where it's going to come down to maybe more so of a 2-2 timing. But TLO looks like he wants to get a little more aggressive. He's going to get a big surround on these Marines here. Without the medevac support, he's going to lose pretty much all of it. This is going to make keeping that third command center landed very difficult. There's a lot of Zerglings coming in for TLO.
Yeah, TLO had so many Zerglings there. I mean, DieStar had no idea. He just walked out and was like, oh my god, you got Zerglings there.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that he also stimmed before to get the original pack of Zerglings that poked in, so
Yeah.
the Medevac's coming out just a little bit later so that he could guarantee himself that 2-2, which he hasn't started yet. He's banking a little bit of gas, but you know, that's putting him in a little bit of a situation where he doesn't have the healing power. His combat shield wasn't done yet, so dealing with that many Zerglings running at you, TLO can delay that third base. That's a lot of potential income for the Terran.
Yeah, he didn't really kill too much, but he, as you said, delayed it. And the Hellions were not with the Marines. There was no mines down yet to actually fortify that location. So, you know, a good play there by TLO. Slows his opponent down. Meanwhile, just keeping up with everything that he's doing. Absolutely perfect macro from TLO so far, I'd say. A little bit of supply block here and there, a little bit of lag sprinkled in on top of that too. But as we can see in the game, Infestation Pit's coming down. He's going to be going on to a Hive soon. He's going to be going up to Ultralisk soon. And we do see a second factory. The second factory coming in for DieStar is going to be able to get that Tech Lab, get that Drilling Claws upgrade down. He's going to be able to just play the game out from this location. And at the moment, I'd say that TLO has a little bit of an edge just because he slowed down his opponent. But overall, a pretty equal game.
Yeah, and I feel like TLO will have a pretty good opportunity to use his 2-2 being started barely earlier than DieStar. Other thing to note, of course, he's not going to be able to jump straight into his 3-3 as the Infestation Pit just started, so there's not really a Hive coming in.
Yeah.
But around the time that the 2-2's done, we could also see him move in, try to do a little bit more play with the Mutalisks that he does now have coming onto the field. And well, he already has the Overseer speed upgrade, so picking off these Widow Mines is going to be a little bit easier for him. He is going to step towards this tower on the east side.
What's going on?
And we saw a little bit of lag.
Adebisi grabs that pause in there. That could have been quite dangerous that both players are moving into a potential engagement there. Not too sure what's going on, so we're just going to have to keep tight for the time being while we just have a quick look and make sure everything is okay. But quite a solid game one from both players here. I mean, not too many mistakes, not too many flaws, pretty just straight up, as we mentioned, just normal play.
I'm a little surprised. I usually expect the craziest stuff from TLO, either the forward proxy hatch just to get the creep spread rolling forward, potential Nidus play, but we do see. I feel a little bit less standard play from TLO. So getting a game like this, going for the macro, going toe to toe with DieStar, is a really great way to get yourself psyched up for a series.
Yeah, it's all about getting that mental game going, getting psyched up, getting ready to go. TLO always very comfortable when he plays in that kind of zone, as we saw a lot of that over the last couple of weeks from him. So he did have the problem, which is why I'm actually smirking away here. German observer did drop out of the game, and TLO's like, sorry for the German. Sorry, it's probably German internet. So we'll be jumping back in a couple of seconds here. But yeah, it's a good start to game one here of this best of three. Remember, it is a best of three between these two players, and it looks like we are about to jump right back in. So countdown has begun, and the game shall begin.
And I guess the last time we saw these Marines pushing towards the eastern tower. The Zerglings have retreated. There's no the fourth base actually just now getting established for TLO. So this is the economic position he wants to be in now that the third base has been taken. But stepping forward, picking off a couple of creep tumors, DieStar wants to prevent this from spreading too much. And TLO really, he opened up aggressively with the Queens, but 13 minutes, still just about halfway. Widowmine's actually trying to get some shots off on these Banelings. It's actually a really nice connection there, taking out quite a few of them. But the Mutalisks are coming in. Is he going to have enough to stave this off? I'm not so sure the Mutas might be able to get those medevacs. DieStar, though, he is going for a bit of multi-prong aggression here, at least on the creep side of things. He's going to try to drop this fourth base. Yeah,
it's going to be covered, though, quite easily here by TLO. And to be honest, at the moment, DieStar's only scratching the surface of this. He's killed off a couple of creep tumors, but he hasn't really done any damage yet to TLO. And TLO did clean up quite a few medivacs in this game, and it has taken a 15-20 supply lead. A fifth base coming down as well here, and we're going to have to see some decisive blows coming in very soon for DieStar, because unfortunately for him, the Hive is on its way, and we know what that means. He will be going over to the Ultras Cavern ASAP. Meanwhile, TLO keeping his opponent back. No drops at all yet been sent out.
That's a very important thing to note, because he won't be able to try to split this army away from him. And while TLO is just trying to step in, Widowmine gets a shot off. Not really anything. There are quite a few Widowmines here, though, trying to lead with a few of these Zerglings. And All the Banelings are running in, but I feel like DieStar has a really nice spread. He's not going to be able to just bust straight through that. Important to note, though, like you said, the Hive is going to be coming in. We're going to see the Ultralisk Cavern. There's no Marauders in the field. There's no Marauder production set up. 2-2 is just completed for DieStar. This is a somewhat reasonable time to go for a push, but he's managed to equalize the upgrades. As we said earlier, the Hive is now just completing, so TLO couldn't start his 3-3 just yet.
All right, well, we do have a Spore Crawler down here, and the drop's trying to make its way to this fourth base on the left-hand side. TLO has not seen it yet. He's getting pushed back away from this main base. He's probably spotted it by now. Okay, he's on the way over. This drop isn't really going to do too much, especially because it's low in health, and the Queen is targeting it down. Just a couple of hit points left on that Medivac, and TLO's Mulus will absolutely be chasing that down. As we do see the Ultras Cavern and 3-3 on the way. 4 barracks are coming in. These are going to be for the Marauders. These are going to be for the Tech Labs. He needs to get those down. But he's only been tickling TLO. He hasn't hit him hard yet. And that's the biggest problem here for DieStar.
Yeah, he's really been having a difficult time actually getting out into the map and being aggressive. And that's kind of interesting. We haven't really seen TLO gone too much Widowmine hunting. So if he can position them even somewhat reasonably well, he's going to be in a good spot. 4th Command Center is going to be completing soon for DieStar. These Marines are sprinting forward, but you know, as they clean up this creep tumor, you're right, he's only been scratching the surface, and the Banelings are actually going to come in from the side, flanking a lot of these units. The Widowmines are not really getting the connections on the Banelings that they want, and DieStar's going to have to lift up and try to retreat. These Mules, though, are getting on top of everything.
TLO is crushing this. Every single unit goes down. A great pickup we saw there from DieStar, but still, every single unit is going to die. And TLO picks off all the Marines, the majority of the Medivacs, and pushing his opponent down to just 120 supply. That timing where you're meant to pick off the hatchery, you're meant to do damage before the Ultras come out, is not there. He hasn't hit it. And now with 3 Ultralists coming, the upgrades kicking in, we're just not seeing Marauders come out. But are we going to see a 4th base come down by DieStar? Yes, he's going to attempt it, but is he going to keep it? Absolutely not. TLO's even in the main base. I just said an Overseer went in. He contaminated the engineering base as well, so the engineering base upgrades. This 4th base is going to try to go down, and he is going to get crushed.
Yeah, and I really, really like the use of the Contaminate on the engineering base, just preventing the upgrades from going through. Also important to note, if you can't get that 4th base up, the main base is going to be mining out soon. And if you want to produce Marauders to deal with the Ultralisks, that's a lot of minerals you're not going to be able to throw too much into the Marine side of things, which means that these Mutalisks that have been staying around for so long are just going to become a huge pain that may be more effective in direct engagements.
Yeah, that's right. And, well, another Medivac goes down. At any moment now, TLO will make his big final push in this game, and I'm not sure DieStar can hold on. If he does, then he's a miracle maker, because right now TLO's coming in, Ultralists, Banelings come down as well, and the Marine squad is just too low. There's not enough Marauders here. The Ultralists, the Marines are trying to shoot them. The bullets are bouncing off their armor, Nathanias. This is not good for DieStar.
Yeah, I mean, he got the best timing he could have. The 3-3's just about to finish before, you know, this fight ends, but he doesn't have enough, like you said. The Marines not going to be able to punch through the Ultralisks quite so well, and the Mutalisks at the same time can just swing off to the right side base, and he's just going to continue to press through here. Once he gets on top of that production, he's going to be...
GG. Didn't even need to get to that production. In all honesty, that was pretty convincing by the German. He played that out really, really well. Minimal mistakes, great macro. Great stop of any kind of assault from DieStar, who tried to break the armor and didn't even get close. That was a good game from TLO, a really, really good, solid game.
Yeah, I think what was most impressive about that game was, you know, he did play a very clean standard style. He's known for the unusual play, known for going a bit of the trickery, the tomfoolery, as it were.
Yeah.
But and the other thing is, you know, he took that creative style and just applied it to his regular game. He brought the Overseers in. We don't see that much contamination used. It's usually just, okay, follow the Mutalisks, drop changelings when you can for scouting information.
Yep.
But TLO was all over him the entire game. He had every piece of information that he needed.
All right, well, if he gets every piece of information that he needs, how is he going to be beaten? He's going to have to get outplayed here, multitasked or something. So DieStar, as you can see on screen now, needs to do something to stop his opponent from taking this 2-0 lead. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but if it's now, it has to be now, actually. This is the first game of their group, just bear in mind. I was actually just looking at their groups a few moments ago. I'll bring it up again now. Where has it gone? Oh, there it is. Okay, so there is a British player in the mix in this group, in Group 26, by the name of Sovlet, is a Protoss player. And the other player is a Norwegian Zerg player, Icho Biko.
That's a pretty cool name. It's pretty fly handle.
I killed it. Yeah, he may kill some nerds too, but DieStar and TLO are the most likely two players to advance from this group, just because we talked about it a lot today. The two players versus two amateurs. These are the two pro players coming in. So TLO and DieStar are expected to move on, and depending on what scene we'll see throughout these next couple of games. The next map, though, is going to be on Whirlwind. What are your thoughts here, especially from DieStar's perspective?
Well, I mean, it's one of those maps where you would normally think against a creative player, you're going to have a bit more distance as far as holding off any kind of roach attacks or very fast speedling attacks. So I don't think his game plan changes too much. He could try to mix it up and go for something like a 2-base Hellbat drop just because there's a bit of better airspace. It's not as easy to cover the airways with Overlords depending on where they send them initially to scout. So I don't think DieStar changes up too much. I do like what you mentioned earlier, though, with TLO in regards to this being a group where both of them would be expected to get out. Maybe he doesn't need to show any of his creative plays because he doesn't want anyone to be able to scout him out for later matches.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got it all in, then, I mean, does he need to? If he's able to beat his opponent straight up, does he need to show what kind of all in he's going to do if he has to play against other Terran players in the future? That's a great point you bring up. So we'll see what TLO's going to do. These are the guys that are going to make up their decisions on what strategies they're going to use. Are we going to see an early breakdown bust from TLO like we saw Hyun use earlier? Is TLO going to play straight up? Is DieStar going to do something crazy? In all honesty, though, on a map like Whirlwind, I think DieStar is probably just going to go command center first, man. I think he'll attempt to climb the hill once again, and TLO's going to be at the top of that hill, throwing rocks down, preventing him from coming up, because that's what it felt like in that game. He just couldn't get to where he wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he took the wrong steps to get there, but he just wasn't able to make it happen where it counted.
Yeah.
And I feel like TLO, as far as maps go, you can almost just as easily bust with such a wide opening to the natural on Whirlwind or his Belshear. So if he goes for something aggressive on Whirlwind, it's probably because he wants to just try to get the quick 2-0, maybe say, okay, I played out the one standard game, I feel comfortable enough that I can just smash through with a really standard all-in, like a Roach Baneling bust that's been pretty popular lately, and just try to end the series so we can, get a break for the rest of the day, I guess.
I mean, these players have been here pretty much all day now, and it's starting to get a little bit late. It's about 10:30 here, Swedish time, and the majority of players have been here since 10 a.m. If they haven't been playing in their group stages, they've obviously been warming up and just preparing themselves mentally and physically ready for today's games. But it looks like DieStar is now ready to begin these next set of games. We do have 2 more after this as well, so this is the first of 3 of the last set of games for Group Stage 1 here of the DreamHack Summer DreamHack Open tournament. A lot of DreamHacks in there. And we're about to jump in to map number 2. Your predictions then, is it going to be a 2-0 or is it going to have a drawn-up series 1-1?
I think DieStar can rally behind on this map for the control. If TLO, though, if he plays anywhere nearly as well as he did in the last game, I don't see DieStar being able to win the macro game because he just had a great opportunity and he didn't really come that close.
Okay. You kind of answered with both there. You said...
Trying to take the neutral stance. I like my Terrans. We have had a lot of PvP and ZVZ today.
I'll let you take the neutral stance, so that's fine. I think TLO is going to win 2-0.
Well, you're probably right.
That's right, man. That's what I think. Because he looked pretty damn good in that previous game.
Yes, he did. And, well, here he is spawning in the top right position of the map that is Whirlwind as our red Zerg. From Team Liquid, it is TLO.
Look at that face, that facial hair.
Oh, facial hair. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left position of the map as the blue Terran player. A wonderful shot of him. It is Millennium's DieStar.
All right, let's see how this is going to shape up. DieStar needs to start to make things happen here on the DreamHack stage. As we zoom in to his left hand, rapidly striking those keys.
You got to stay warm. You got to stay pumped up for the game. You start down 0-1, man. The last thing you want to do is get inside your own head.
That's right, man. Got to keep that mind clear. And I guess we should extend the thanks to Ada BC. Cheers for showing up again, doing some more commentary. I mean, observing. Sorry. Didn't quite make the cut for the casting job, did he, Nathan?
Apparently not. They let someone else with facial hair get that one.
Oh, cheers, Ada BC. Cheers, mate. All right, into the game we go. Hatchery first down by TLO, and command center on the low ground. A little bit risky here from DieStar, but he seems to like to take a risk.
I don't think this is too much to try to pull on this map. It's not 4GG versus Nurchio getting 7 Roach Rush, on cross spawns at the.
That was a funny game, man. Did you catch that?
Yeah, that was for the last stream hack actually. That was quite an interesting match, but I don't think TLO plays that aggressively.
No, I mean that was. I actually watched all of 4GG's games back, and I watched that one and I laughed, just straight out laughed. Because 4GG is very well known for not scouting whatsoever. So Nurture was like, well, dude, if you're just not going to scout every game, then why can't I just go one base Roach and beat your command to first on the low ground, which he did. So it was quite a fun series.
And this is the annoying part. You just have the drone just poking away at your SCV. He's actually getting it quite low. He's only 2 hits away from finishing that off. You don't want to start down 0-1 and then in the second game lose your initial command center building SCV. You might actually need to send another one down at this point. He's running quite low on the hit points at the one that's building right now. And
it's rather annoying that, and he goes up right on to the next one. He's really delaying that command center. Is he going to get an... Is he... Hold on, I'm watching this. Oh, gosh, almost got
that is dangerously close. There's nothing more frustrating as a Terran than losing an SCV building something at the very beginning of the game.
He almost killed about 3 SCVs there. He's not going to get out, though. You must pay for that.
Oh, no,
not now, though. Not now.
The ultimate spite. He's like, yeah, I just poked all 3 of your SCVs almost to death, and I'm just going to take the extract at your natural. He's not going to be able to scout anything really going on here. Of course, he'll know that there's not a lot of Marines being made because he's going to get an add-on for a reactor, but that's pretty standard with this setup going into the factory. A couple Zerglings, though, are going to try to get in here, and I think maybe he was trying to catch these Marines out of position with not being out of bunker. TLO does have another 2 Lings coming in, but the help of that one SCV taking a little bit of damage. DieStar's not going to take too much from this.
No, that's fine. He's fine, man. TLO, though, on the other hand, has got 1 gas in his main base. I don't think he's going to be aggressive with it because he should have had a second one out by now if he wanted to. So what I'm expecting him to do with his single gas, he will need to throw down... Oh, can you... Okay, I thought my mic just cut off. He will need to throw down a second extractor, not that one there, but a second one in his main base soon, because he'll want to get Zergling speed and, of course, double evolution chambers soon. But we'll want also, with his creep spread coming down, a third base to follow this up. But as we see from DieStar, pretty much the same thing again, man. Same build, same setup.
And I honestly can't blame the guy. As far as Terran versus Zerg goes, you want to get into the comfortable mid-game position because there's so many early aggressive builds that a Zerg can bring against you. As far as, especially with a map with ramp that has this wide of an area where Roaches and Banelings can be so cost-effective that it's better to just take the risk, play economically, and just try to defend anything that comes your way.
And in these cross positions, I wouldn't really expect anything too crazy from TLO, but a Bailey Nest has come down here. And I don't know if this is because he hasn't scouted his opponent whatsoever. I mean, if we look at some builds that TLO's lost to in the past, is opponents who don't build a third command center and add on additional barracks, and try to go for a stim timing. There are these kind of builds that he's lost to in the past. So I'm not sure if this Bailey Nest is an adaptation to that, or if he's actually just going to go crazy and build a lot of units, which we now see 16 Zerglings coming down. Double evolution chamber as well, though, so I still don't think this can really... With 16 Zerglings, and let's say you morph 6 Banelings, that's only 14, 12 Zerglings that can do anything here. Yeah. So I'm intrigued by this. I don't think he's going to use it aggressively. I think he's going to build these Lings maybe just to take care of these Hellions.
Yeah, and the other important thing to note is that these Hellions are here being very active on the map. So as soon as the Zerglings try to move out, if he either tries to get the Hellions or go past them, he should see them. He could try to swing them around, be a little bit cheeky, but the third hatchery is complete. DieStar's just coming around and harassing as much as he can, but the Zergling speed's going to finish up. Doesn't look like he's getting too aggressive, though. He is starting to move the Zerglings out across the middle of the field, though. Oh,
I see what he's doing. Okay, so he's overbuilt his Lings. So he's got 1 massive set on the left-hand side of this map and 1 back at home. And what his plan's going to be, he's going to morph actually a lot of Banelings. Probably as many as he can. And he's going to keep his opponent's Hellions on the edge of his creep. And then he's going to go in, bust down the front wall, and aim for the SCV line on the natural, while keeping enough Lings back at home to defend against the Hellions. It's kind of a low economy style, multi kind of attack. I guess he can bring it all together and just go for one big one, but we'll see. The Hellions in the middle of the map now are going to see these.
And he's going to come in here. He's bringing those banelings, like you said, right up to that bunker. He's got it very low. Does manage to bust through it. There are a couple Marauders here. Not going to be too strong versus these Zerglings, as you mentioned. And he's got a full area here. A lot of damage taken on these SCVs, and the Zerglings going to be able to finish those off very quickly.
He's got to wall off here. He's got to wall off. There's too many Zerglings coming. If he doesn't wall off here, he's going to be in a bunch of trouble, and he is in trouble because the Zerglings enter no matter what at this point. And oh, look at the amount of SCVs that are going down. This is just, one-sided. 22, 25 SCVs remaining.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of SCVs. If he can stabilize, he can sort of normalize things a little bit later. He does have the third command center to fall back on, the key to the Terran economic backbone. But he says so many Zerglings inside of his natural, he could possibly force a lift-off here. The Hellions and Marines are coming down to try to work together. There's not any more Banelings. Stim is complete. He is going to be able to chew through quite a few of these, but he's going to lose the majority of his Hellions in the process. And these Marines, there's no starport on the field. They're not getting any healthier as the game goes by.
Yeah, TLO invested into these Zerglings, and they paid off. They did a lot of damage. He's gone up to a decent drone count again-ish, roughly 60 drones. But he's building more and more Zerglings, especially with 1-1 completed now. He might as well go again. I mean, what is he going to do? Sit back and try to go 2-2 when his lair isn't ready? He's going to try another little attack here. Let's see if DieStar is going to be ready for this.
It's going to be tough to hold. Another thing to consider is it's going to be a lot easier. There's no wall this time that he has to break through. If he can move the Zerglings in fast enough beyond there's not that many Hellions, he could get this around, bring the Banelings in after the Zerglings come in. DieStar sees this though. He has his Hellions sent out towards the center of the field. It's actually going to get surrounded and picked off. A little bit less, I guess, firepower, no pun intended, to deal with the Zerglings that could run in. But DieStar does have a couple Widow Mines. He is going to get his armory in. That 2-2 that you mentioned that hasn't yet started for TLO, if DieStar can get that, that's one of the ways a Terran player can pull their way back in the game, utilizing upgrades with how effective they stack with Stim.
Oh, he's got a lot to get himself back into this game. 73 supply, and a supply block 73 versus 109 TLO at the moment. He is researching Burrow too, and with researching Burrow, he's going to be able to prevent his opponent taking the third base. He can use Burrow Banelings. He's got Overlords being spread across the map. TLO almost taking this as a training match here, just making sure everything's ready and dandy for the rest of the tournament. It seems that easy for him at this point.
Yeah, he's going to get the Spire up too. He's making sure to check all of his bases. It's a very, very thought-out, methodical style for TLO, and I kind of like that he didn't try to commit for the second attack. He said, okay, well, instead of perhaps overextending, like we actually saw, it does happen when you get into these positions, especially some of the games that we've seen here at DreamHack today, but just trying to get more ahead, utilizing his advantage, securing the fourth base, saying, okay, well, have fun trying to get a third when I've got Burrow, when I have a superior supply count to you. And, well, DieStar's going to try to make something happen at this fourth base. Nothing available, though.
Yeah, the thing is he set himself so far behind, excuse me, it's very difficult for DieStar to get damage done, which has allowed TLO to go unharassed on 4 bases versus 2. And TLO at this point might as well take a bloody 5th one. I mean, there's nothing to stop him at this point. As we do see DieStar is going to attempt to take his third. Widow Mines have to be spread around on the high ground to make sure that when Zerglings come up to the high ground that they get absolutely destroyed. He needs to get this third down.
Yeah, and he's continuing to put the pressure onto that fourth, not going to be able to take that out just yet. And of course, there was the creep spread on the third base. An Overlord that spreads creep, it takes a whole minute in-game for that creep to recede, so that's delaying the expansion even further. And now we already have another force of Zerglings available. There's Banelings. Centrifugal Hooks is about to finish, so those Banelings going to be a lot more effective at actually getting where they need to be. 2-2 is going to finish barely ahead of DieStar's. If TLO pushes in with his 2-2, he'll have that Baneling speed, and he'll be going right as this third command center lands. At best, he can take out the whole army and secure basically a game-winning position. At worst, he's most likely going to be able to shut this base down, but now he's coming in with the Banelings. The Marines are trying to retreat. They're going to get caught here in this bush area, but he's losing so much, and now TLO's going to run in. DieStar at the same time is going to try to pressure off this fourth base. There is a queen. He might be able to do a lot of damage here. The Widow Mines not doing too much to actually stop this assault just yet. They're getting some great hits on the Zerglings and Banelings, but he's doing what he needs to do, which is forcing a lift off on that third base, delaying it even more, and this is looking more and more like game number 1 as time goes by.
That's right. I mean, 48 SCVs to 76 drones. Granted, that drop from DieStar did land on the third base, but it's about to be cleaned up. And TLO, in trade-off, killed a lot of SCVs in this. He's killed a lot of army supply. Again, DieStar dips below the 100 supply mark. He's down to 94. His Widow Mines are recharged and ready to lock and load and do some more damage if TLO comes in again, which TLO will come. It just depends where now. He's got a lot of Banelings. Well, a lot of Zerglings are bound to be Banelings here in the middle of the map. and he'll probably start another assault very, very shortly. He's got so much gas banked up, 1,000, well, 1,200 just about. And he's coming crashing in again. DieStar needs to keep TLO away from his third base, away from his important key structures like, having this third base been taken down.
And important to note, TLO still making sure to check everything off of his list as he goes through the game. He's getting his hive together. He's making sure to get his air attack, and he's continuing to produce bases. He's not going for any kind of I want to end this game attack. He's just slowly but surely gobbling up this map, denying bases from DieStar, and in all honesty, he's doing everything that he needs to do. And I kind of like what you said earlier. He's kind of treating this like a training match. Like, okay, let's play through the whole game. Let's make sure that despite any lead I get, I make sure to hit all of my bases, and just take care of everything that I would in a game where I might be stressed out a little bit more.
Yeah, and that stress is a good point. He hasn't been stressed at all. There's been nothing to pressure him so far. I don't think TLO's even broken a sweat yet as he comes crashing in once again, just destroying. He's making it look easy here, making Zerg look overpowered, when in reality it's meant to be Terran, isn't it, Nathanias? As the Zerglings come through here. And again, Widowmine's keeping these units back, but not for long.
It's gotten to the point where the forces can take out one production wave of the Terran. He's going to get here on top of all of these SCVs, taking out the command center as well. And the Marines are like, come on, we want to fight. And he's like, well, there's nothing left for me to kill, so I'm just going to back off. The Mutalisk will retreat. He's going to be able to garner his forces together once again. The Ultralisk Caverns coming in, +2 Zerg flyer attacks. TLO is, that's the only way I can really say it. He's just going through a list of everything that he wants to do this game, and he has not been really, I guess, checked against going against that. Yeah,
he's been able to do pretty much whatever he wants in this game, and he now maintains a 40-50 supply lead. 3-3 on the way. Ultralisk Cavern coming down as well. TLO still, though, with a very brutal force in the middle of the map here. We'll see how much he's going to be able to do here. Is the Mutalisk count so incredibly high. He's doing so much damage. The Zerglings tanking for these. Look at them just getting in there. Come on, guys. Together.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of firepower here for TLO. Medevacs had to lift up the Marines. Like you said, he dropped below 100 supply for a second there again, and he's just being able to give chase to all of these forces. DieStar has a reasonable number of Medevacs. He's got a couple of mines in the center of the field, but there's not too many more Marines. And at this point, once the Mutalisks can start to overwhelm the Marines that are coming out of your barracks, you're in a very bad position. You don't have quite enough production to actually stave this off. And TLO, he can just keep this rush going all game long, but 3-3 on the way. Titan is plating. Ultralisk. He's not missing a beat.
5 base versus 2 base. DieStar's main is unmined, basically. He's got no money in there. You can see the resources at the bottom. He's got 18 minerals, 2,000 gas. He can't spend his gas because he doesn't have any minerals in the first place. So he's in a world of trouble, as we do have TLO sending a Zergling in. The Widow Mine actually detonated on the Marines, and GG called. He can't keep up here. TLO dominating performance here with his first game of the DreamHack Tour.